today we'll give a short introduction about the validation tool, which were currently industry was using it. Uh, Today for the webinar topic, these are the contents. Uh, we are covering the road accidents facts, and then why we really need the autonomous driving, and then inside of autonomous driving, what kind of classification levels is there, and then autonomous driving basic requirements, whatever basic requirement is needed for autonomous driving, and then to uh, to achieve the autonomous driving, what type of physical devices is required, such that sensor types and characteristics, and then autonomous vehicle configuration to achieve to that autonomous classification level, and then to suffice that autonomous feature. So what kind of vehicle configuration is required, and then one more thing is software stack. Software stack is basically, it's a kind of basic architect. It will show you the basic representation of the software stack. And then and the next topic is state of the art technology and evolution. What kind of uh, evolutions and the feature technology was going through the autonomous driving, and then the typical job roles in that domain, and then to get that domain, what kind of skill sets you needed. And then for the today we're going to given a demo on short introduction about the tool, simulated tool, which is a car maker, and then I'll end the session with some virtual demo. It's a kind of ACC. And then coming to our first topic, it's a road accident facts. uh, Basically, this is the intention to go over autonomous driving. Basically, this is the stats of the road accidents. Like, I mean, every year I think it's a quite number, like around 1.35 million people who are dying due to the road accidents. And then you can see the stats over there. I think most of the road traffic deaths are uh, the pedestrian and cyclists and motorcyclists, where in the urban scenarios and highways, a pedestrian were crossing or cyclist was placed nearby the roads, maybe if driver is not attentive. So in those cases, the most of the pedestrian cyclist was affecting the road accidents, and even it will cause a death and even the injuries. Uh, yeah, and then this fatalities statistics in India. Uh, Basically, it was saying like most of the deaths were young adults aged between 5 and 29 years. Here we could see on every year like how the road accidents was pitching up, and then the statistics. And then coming to the next slide, it was saying it was predicted that the road traffic injuries was the eighth leading cause for the more deaths. And then they are predicting, and globally by 2030, if you are not taking preventive actions, this cause might seventh leading cause, it will cause the deaths. And then to mitigate this cause to get more deaths, 2020 agenda was we have to develop sustainable development as an aspiring target of to uh, to decrease this number of injuries and deaths. Uh, yeah, why we require the need of autonomous driving? Here we have a couple of pictures of the what is autonomous driving. Here there were cars and even surrounding vehicles will talk about these sensors. It will perceive the environment, and it will get the properties of the road objects and everything. So based upon this, maybe coming pictures I mean, like coming slide, I can explain you what kind of things are needed. This is are just the pictures of the autonomous driving during different scenarios. uh, Coming to the road, as you see, road accidents are it's causing more like, I mean, seventh leading it's going to be seventh leading cause for the road accident, like deaths and injuries. So that in order to prevent this things to be road accidents to be minimized, we need to be improved in many sectors, such as police, to get more strict traffic rules. And then transportation is in the kind of automotive industry. And then education is we have to educate the road users. And then health and actions, what if it is happened, what type of action we need to take. Okay. uh, the coming to the next slide. uh, like to preventive this in automotive industry, a lot of intervention is going on, like incorporating road safety features into land use and transport planning. In automotive industry, we are planning a lot of innovations to mitigate this accident caused by different use case and different circumstances. And then if even if that crash has happened, so what we have to mitigate that in a post crash, that basically we'll call it as a passive safety. I think guys, like you are aware of the airbags. And then what if accidents has happened to to save the vehicle occupants, the airbags can be the open, and then it will reduce the impact of the accidents to the vehicle occupants. And then after that it will call to the nearest ambulance. That kind of innovation was going on for post crash. But previous to the crash, like before a crash, we'll use the active safety domain, wherein we'll put a lot of innovations to control these the crashes before crashing. Okay. uh, and then most of the accidents in highway or urban was happening due to the human errors. Like I mean, the driver, in some cases he was misjudgment about the environment, and then he was not attentive to the situations, so it will happens. So this will cause of human life and property damage. And then a lot of innovations has to be made in the transportation sector to increase the safety features in the vehicles, like full autonomous control, wherein if we come into vehicle level, in a system level, we have to control in a two direction. One is a longitudinal directions, in the form of we need to apply throttle and brake based upon the situations. And then lateral support, we need to be in a lane in a dense topic. Like I mean, if you maintain a safe margin to the nearest vehicles, like that, we can mitigate that crashes with the rear end and then the offsets of the crashes. Okay. And then coming to the autonomous driving system classification levels, to define the classification levels, we have to uh, what are our requirements, if driver attention requirements and driving task requirements, whether lateral control is needed or longitudinal control is needed, uh, whether object acceleration, event detection and response has to be needed. And then a lot of the questions has to be derived. Like I mean, we need to evaluate, can the system handle lateral control? I mean, without the driver, if the system can handle a lateral control, or and then next question is whether we'll require a longitudinal control without driver intervention. And then can save if suddenly during driving cycle, if any emergency situation occurs, if the system will handle or not. So these are the uh, we need to be thoroughly to specify the classification levels at autonomous driving. uh, to coming to the actual autonomous driving, the first objective is how much driver supervision does the system needed. Whether if the driver supervision is not needed, and maybe during the any during driving cycle, if any situations occur, whether drivers have, like supervision is needed, whether it can take the control back to the system or not. And then next thing is like the Society of Automotive Engineers has defined 6 levels of driving automation, which basically ranges from 0 to 5. 0 is fully manual, like it's a just a kind of passenger cars which we see now. And then one is level 1 is human attention is needed, but during some situation it will assist in a either in a longitudinal in a lateral direction. You mean like in the kind of to follow the traffic, or to accelerate if there is no vehicles. That's a longitudinal controller. Lateral controller means if you want to safely maintain the offset from the other lane vehicles. And then level 2 is it's a partially automated. uh, that is like, I mean, this is traffic supervision. In the both the cases, we can control like longitudinal and lateral control. It can system can handle. And then third is highly automated. In these cases, driver is freely freely he can leave off the steering and foot on the brake and accelerator. But based upon the, if any emergency situations or if any system validates, like, I mean, system failures occurs, the system will tells the driver to take a control. In those cases, driver has to attend to you and then he has to control it. And then 4 is fully autonomous automated. So basically, fully autonomous driving means we have the safe mitigation plan if any uh, uh, such blockers or such situations occur, emergency situations occur in a driving cycle. We'll have the backup strategy so that it will slowly reduce the speed and it will try to go to the slowest lane, and then it will stop the car. And then 5 is fully autonomous car. With that level, we don't require even driver attention. In that cases, won't be there any steering and then the gear, this one throttle and brake. So, and then coming to the actual autonomous driving requirements. So to achieve the autonomous driving requirements, first we need to check the driving task. Driving task means first we need to understand the environment to identify the objects and objects of the motions on the road. And then planning is the driving test to planning is to reach one point to one point. So how to plan that to go to that particular trajectory. So where in that during cases, how to when to take the lane changes in order to achieve the target. If the current lane was occupied with the other road users, if we want to go to the other lanes, how to change it, this will comes under planning. The controlling vehicle means actually we need to give the commands to the actuator with the appropriate acceleration and the steering angle, how much acceleration, how much steering angle is required to maintain that planned trajectory. And then operational design domain means operating condition with including environment condition. Environment condition means, like, I mean, different environment condition with the cloudy, without clouds, or sunny season. And then that's it. I think we need to design the full autonomous event to consider all the type of climate changes also. And then coming to the first most the task of the autonomous driving is a perception. Perception means if we want to drive in on road, first we need to perceive the environment, what kind of objects are there in a road, and then what about their motions, and then what kind of static objects, like, I mean, lane markings, the off-roads, and then traffic lights, and then road signs, the construction signs, or any obstructions are there on the road. And then if dynamic object identified, what about that motions, like cars, trucks, or pedestrian, bicycles, and motorcycles, how they are moving it in a environment. And then first we need to ego localization means first we need to locate our own vehicle. So how it is going, the state estimation, I mean, how much uh, uh, like velocity it is going, what is the acceleration, current acceleration, what is the orientation angle, and the angular motion. And then coming to the perception challenges, as I told, like, perception is the main major task in autonomous driving. It is having certain challenges because we need to be, if you want to get a proper level full autonomous driving level 5, so we need to be robust detection segmentation. And then sensor uncertainty, we need to deal with the sensor uncertainty. Maybe in coming slide I can let you know what you mean by sensor uncertainty. And then occlusion and reflection, that also I will cover in coming slide. Weather and precipitation. And then driving decision and planning. While in driving decision planning was the next prior task. So one is long-term decisions. Long-term decision means how to drive from from source to target, like destination. Here I just given an example. So the long-term decision is how to navigate from Delhi to Hyderabad. So that will have the mission driving plan in our mission cycle. So usually the mapping application will give the driving decision. Means I'll cover this in the first stack. Okay, and then coming to the driving decisions, we had three types of driving decisions. I already covered long-term decisions. So we already put uh, uh, driving decisions to reach from one point to one point. In that driving cycle, if any situations are occurred, is it safe to change the lane to achieve the source target? So example like given, is it safe to change the lane to right from the current lane? So it will check the perception will check the the surrounding objects, the information, and then it will tells you there were no vehicles in the right side, so that it will try to change the lane. That is a one more short-term decision. And then another example, is it safe to pass the intersection and join from the right road? So during intersection, is it safe to join the intersection to the right road? And then immediate decision means like it's a local plan. What if suddenly uh, any emergency situation occur? It's like is it safe to safe to say and track on this curve road in the during the curve road? Like is it safe to follow the same velocity, or it is to decrease the velocity? And then acceleration steering, how much you follow the lane. If you want to follow the curve road, how much acceleration, how much steering is needed? So in order to achieve these short-term decisions, we have after the decision we have to plan it uh, to uh, to suffice these decisions. So we have like a lot of planning. One is a rule-based planning, which is involved decision trees. Decision trees means we'll put a lot of decisions. So based upon the decisions outcome, so we'll follow the planning in a different tree branches. Like it will take a current ego vehicle state and other objects and give decision. Examples is if there is a pedestrian on the road, stop it. One decision point is if there is pedestrian is observed, if the decision outcome is true, it will stop the vehicle. Otherwise, it will drive the vehicle. So that is one kind of decision tree. If the speed limit is changes, adjust the speed to match it. This is another decision. Like I mean, the other rule-based planning. So coming to the perception part, if you want to perceive the environment, we require certain physical devices. Uh, those are sensors. Sensor is basically is a device. It will detect or measure a property of the environment, changes in the property. Changes means it's a dynamic behavior, like I mean how it's moving. Okay, in the sensor we have different type of two types of sensors. One is extrospective. Extrospective is surrounding, it's outside to the system, and then it's the internal sensors. I'll cover those things. And then the first foremost sensor is camera sensor. It's necessarily is needed to correctly perceive the environment. A camera sensor is needed to sense the environment, the static object and even dynamic objects, kind of cars, how much distance is the car is observed, and then how much velocity it is going, what is its orientations, everything it will give in the camera sensor. So in order to like select the camera, so we have comparison matrices. So we can select the camera based upon the resolution, field of view, dynamic range. Resolution means how much pixel, how much accuracy the data is giving, and then field of means how much the angle it can cover in the horizontal and in the vertical. Dynamic range means how much range it can detect the objects, different objects. And then one more sensor is radar sensor. Sorry, lidar sensor. Lidar sensor is basically, this is also visual perspective sensor. Basically, it will, if you see in here in the picture, it's a lidar. It is having the rotating stacks of the beams, light beams. It will shoot the different light sources, and then based upon that light emits returns. It will get a 3D plant cloud, and then it will get the object, different surrounding object properties in the form of what is the longitudinal distance and velocities, what is the orientation angle, such that. Okay. Basically, this is a lidar point cloud. Okay. So in order to select the lidar, we need a lot of matrices. I mean, comparison matrices. One is how many number of beams of the source it is having, and then how many points per second it can detect, and then what is the rotation rate. As I said, the lidar is a rotation stack. It will have source of light beams, a number of source of light beams. What is the rotation rate and field of view? Field of means how much angle it can cover in a vertical and it's in horizontal. Okay. So, and then coming to the next slide, it is autonomous vehicle configuration. As already explained, the different sensors. In order to achieve our what kind of sensor is needed, how to configure in a vehicle. Okay. So sensor configuration coverage analysis, we need to cover it, and then require sensors to support different maneuvers within the operation domain. So if you see in this table, the parameter and then the urban residential, we have given, I listed two scenarios. One is highway driving, one is urban and residential scenarios. Uh, the traffic speed in a highway scenario is very high, and then urban, it is varying from medium. And then traffic volume in highway it's high, and in urban it's high and medium and high. Number of lanes in highway it could be more than 4, and urban it could be typically 2 to 4. And then other in highways will have gradual curve and a lot of edges. In urban roads will come across many turns and intersection. So in maneuver side, what type of maneuvers is required in highway driving and urban driving? Kind of emergency stop, maintain speed, and then intended lane changes. In the urban, we have emergency stop, maintaining overtaking, and then speed lane change, turning, crossing at the intersections. To in order to suffice this maneuvers. Sorry, somehow in order to suffice these maneuvers, we have to select the sensors. We need to assess this use case, and then we need to check it. First, suppose if you want to check the lane change, normal lane change. So to get the normal lane change, we need to first perceive the environment in longitudinal direction, and then even the neighbor lane vehicles and rear side vehicles also. Because during the lane change, what will happen if the other vehicle will suddenly come into that lane, it will crash it, right? We have to analyze all the situations. For that, for the normal lane change, actually we don't require to assess the dynamic object more distance. For that cases, we'll use the short range radar. Short range radar is having field of view ranges is angle is more. And then even in order to detect the right neighbor lanes and even the right lane and right lane, we have the side sensors, radars and cameras. We can place it, and then rear sensors also we can place it. Basically, this configuration, it's basically depends on the use case, the maneuver, which kind of maneuver it's going on. So that kind of maneuvers, the configuration we can configure at the sensors in the vehicle level. So here in this picture, he's given a lot of features, like, I mean, adaptive cruise control, and then pedestrian detection, collision avoidance systems. So based upon that, what of the sensor is needed, what is the field of view it's needed, that kind of picture is given. So in order, like, first we need to assess our use case, our maneuvers, our system capabilities. So based upon that assessment, we have to select the sensors, and then we need to configure sensor according to our assessments, our system assessments. So coming to the next slides, like coming to the next slide, it talks about the software stack. So basically software stack is needed. This is a basic architect of the autonomous driving. So basically it will take the hardware inputs and it will monitor the hardware outputs, and then inside of the software stack, like a lot of components are there, a lot of modules are there. Basically sensor hardware outputs is from the sensor outputs, from the raw data from the sensor it will take. And then first prior most uh, module is environment perception. So environment perception is basically it will take the data from the raw sensors, kind of like sensor will detect the static object and dynamic objects. And then environment perception main task is it will first localize our ego vehicle, and then based upon the raw sensor data, what is dynamic object, which kind of dynamic objects is placed, and then what kind of how it is moving in environment. So that perception will take care environment perception module. And then environment mapping is basically we require certain mappings to evaluate that environment perception and driving task, the occupancy grid, and then localization map, and then the detailed road map during driving cycle. The detailed roadmap is required during the current our situation. It will gives the current situation of the entire driving cycle. I mean, from source to target, what kind of lanes are available, what kind of mergers is available, whether where the entries and exits are available. So the information can be given as an environment mapping. For this, it can take the predefined data in the maps, pre-recorded data, and then the live maps of the from the Google or whichever the maps you are taken. It will use that and it will give the environment maps, different environment mapping. The occupancy grid is like, I mean, it will tells you the cells of the environment, what and where the object is occupied. So that based upon the occupancy grid, we'll get to know in the environment in the which route was not occupied, so that we can plan our ego vehicle to move in that uh, uh, without like, I mean, there is no occupancy. And then coming to the next prior most thing is motion planning. So motion planning is basically based upon the environment perception, dynamic data, and then the object data information. It will plan the trajectory. Like, I mean, mission planning I told, right? I mean, from source to target, and then it will decide maneuver. It will decide different maneuvers, as I previously explained, as short-term decision, long-term decisions, and then immediate decisions. It will evaluate this, and then based upon the decisions, it will give the trajectory. I mean, the planning trajectory. So way to plan, how to follow the trajectory. So based upon the decisions. But the next prior most is controller, based upon the given the trajectory from the motion and planning. Controller tries to follow that. I mean, how much steering command is needed, how much throttle and how much braking command is needed. The control task will control will take care about that. And then from the controller, actuation will get the commands of the throttle, braking, and steering angle commands. And then actuator will actuate based upon that commands. And then next firmost system supervisor uh, is basically it will monitor entire our driving cycle of the autonomous driving. And then it will monitor even in system supervisor we have two types of supervisor. One is hardware supervisor, one is software supervisor. Hardware supervisor is it will monitors the hardware components such as sensors, whether if any sensor is having blockage of for example, the sensor was blocking due to the rain or snow or falling on the sensor. So that those kind of validation can be monitored with the hardware sensors, and even it can monitor the hardware outputs, whether the hardware outputs it's at sync with the system, like, I mean, software or not. What software is needed, whether hardware is providing that data or not. And then coming to the system supervisor, it can check all this software stack, whether it can like going well with the plan, with all these software things, I mean, like software modules. if any blockages or any mitigations are observed, the system supervisor can throw a warning to the system. In those cases, I think depends on the levels of the autonomous system. If it is a level 2 or level 3, generally it will give the visual warnings to the diver in a kind of haptic or kind of sound, so that in those cases diver has to take an attentive, and then he has to take control of the autonomous driving. Coming to the level 4 and level 5, we have the mitigation plans, the safe actions. If the system supervisor observed any failures in those, what are the depends on the failure classification, it will execute this safe plan based upon the safety plan.